everyone, and thank you for tuning in. Today, we're going to be looking at Bitcoin dominance, um, its valuations against, we're looking at it on a percentage scale, so from 0 to 100. It's a very useful chart, in my opinion, to measure the health of the altcoin market specifically. Um, and with this chart, along with Bitcoin against the US dollar, you could use Total 2 as well. You can get a pretty good idea on the state of the altcoin market. And here we're talking about potentially a light at the end of the tunnel. Um, you can call it hopium or what have you, but when we look at Bitcoin dominance right now, we're at 40.74% dominance. We are down about 0.81 percentage points for the week. And looking at Bitcoin, looking at the total cryptocurrency market cap as well, you can argue, look, it's below the 20-week moving average right now. We haven't officially closed below it, but we're still below it. And we have been below the 20-week moving average, but fighting against the 50-week moving average for the past 3 weeks for Bitcoin. Things look very shaky. But when we look at Bitcoin dominance, we might be able to see a light at the end of the tunnel. Remember, if you do like this video and the other videos that I make on this channel, be sure to hit the like button down below and don't forget to subscribe. So with Bitcoin dominance, um, we could see for the past 6 months, right, since May, we have been bouncing off of this Q level of support at around 40% dominance. We bounced around it in May, we bounced off of it in September, and we're here yet again around this area in December. And we're keeping on we keep on bouncing off, and we rally. The highest point we went to was 48.74% dominance. The second part was we went up to 47.60. So the question is are we going to have another bounce? It's entirely possible that we have another bounce, but also keep in mind that the line, the resistance line is declining. If we are to take these two wicks at face value, it's a bearish structure, technically speaking, with a downward line of resistance with a straight line of support. The floor will break at some point, which is good, which is good in this circumstance. Why? Because the lower Bitcoin dominance goes, that it means altcoins are outpacing Bitcoin, right? You see Ethereum beginning to rally, like what it's doing right now. You see, like, basic attention token is another example of that. It's still rallying. Um, Binance coin is rallying as well. Solana is rallying as well. Or actually, no, I'm mistaken. Solana is actually moving sideways against Bitcoin. It has been since November. So with that said, a lower Bitcoin dominance or a falling Bitcoin dominance is good for the most part. Especially for many of you watching, I'm sure you guys have more altcoins than Bitcoin. I would advise against that, but to each their own. So with that said, we are, we're currently down for this week. We've been around this area for about a week and a half, relatively around the same amount of time for the last two drops. So we can't necessarily say that this is the move that breaks the floor. We could easily bounce off of it as well. Um, so with that said, all we have to do is wait. If Bitcoin manages to stay above the 50-week moving average, potentially above the 20-week moving average, I would become more confident that the floor would break. If Bitcoin breaks below the 50-week moving average, I'd be a little bit more hesitant. Again, we're looking at factors outside of Bitcoin dominance, the Bitcoin dominance chart, to kind of indicate what will happen to it, right? It kind of gives me some assurances that we see Ethereum making a green weekly candle for this week. For the most part of this week, it was red. Basic attention token as well, wick down to the downward line of resistance, creating support, and then wicking back up. So these things make me feel a little bit better. VeChain turning turning its weekly candle into a green weekly candle against Ethereum and against Bitcoin. Tezos as well, keeping it a green weekly candle. Things are looking good. But again, things can change very quickly, and Bitcoin dominance can change very quickly. Uh, So that's kind of what we're waiting for right now. Um, if it does break that floor, then the next target would be 36.60, which would be the all-time low for Bitcoin dominance, right? I think for this cycle, at least in my opinion, Bitcoin the floor for Bitcoin dominance is lower than 36%. Um, there are more altcoins in the space. There's more money in the space. The altcoin market is larger than it was back in 2017. And therefore it's taking up more of a market share than Bitcoin because Bitcoin is Bitcoin. Um, so with that said, I potentially see it going lower than 36% dominance. And I would definitely I'm definitely all for it. So when we look at total two, however, um, we could see that it is right at the 20-week moving average. Look at that. I have to get rid of the line. The 20-week moving average right now is at $1.317 trillion, and total two right now is measured at 1.33. So things are holding strong for total two for the altcoin market cap. The total cryptocurrency market cap is below the 20-week moving average, and again, Bitcoin is below its own. So this is quite interesting. And also, I would like to add, when looking at Bitcoin dominance, it is important. Okay, when measuring Bitcoin dominance, it is also important to measure Ethereum, the strength of Ethereum. Is Ethereum bullish against Bitcoin? It is. Is Ethereum above its own 20-week moving average? It also is. It's above these 20 and the 50. It's lagging versions of itself. Ergo, the trend is up. And as long as the trend is up for Ethereum, and Ethereum looked relatively healthy, then that also is another good factor for Bitcoin dominance, another assurance to think that the trend for Bitcoin dominance will continue to go down. Now, if it does bounce, if Bitcoin dominance does bounce, what do we do? Well, then I don't think this is a tradable move because, in my opinion, you can interpret differently. If this is truly a downward line of resistance, the bounce move, uh, won't be as high as the others. And I don't think it'd be wise necessarily to kind of trade back into Bitcoin, wait for 2, 3 weeks, and then trade it back to altcoins. I think that trade is too quick, too fast, and requires great timing. Something that we have to admit we don't necessarily have in our favor. Now, if this bounce, you know, was in a span of months and potentially years, then sure, it's easier to time those. Uh, but if we're talking about, a number of weeks, maybe a month and a half, the timing is just too risky at that point. You can, if you want, you can sell your altcoins back into Bitcoin and then just hold Bitcoin, waiting for a bounce to happen. It's perfectly up to you. As for me, I've been accumulating altcoins. I've started to accumulate VeChain, um, and I'm hoping for this floor drop. Now that doesn't mean that I don't own any Bitcoin. Bitcoin's still the largest position in my portfolio, and it will continue to do so, unless we see some major flux in the cryptocurrency market, which resulted me to going all in on altcoins, which probably will never happen. Anyway, that's all for today, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Take care. Bye bye.